Hello everybody, this video is brought to you by the fact that I look freaking orange for no reason. At the time of me filming this, it is currently December 30th, meaning that tomorrow is New Year's Eve, meaning that the next day is New Year's Day. And I can't believe that this year is already over, and I can't believe that I'm already making this end of the year Patreon video. It's really exciting, and it feels like I'm just so ready for the year to be over, to be honest. I feel like this year has been so long. So the fact that it's over feels really strange, and the idea of entering a new year feels really weird. And so I hope that you all had a great 2020. I know it was challenging at points for all of us, but I think that I learned so much, and I feel like I am coming out of this year knowing way more than I did at the start of the year, and I feel like that's a good thing. So the topic that was selected is a topic that has actually been on the polls for a minute. I think that I put this in the polls forever ago, and I was gonna do it for an actual YouTube video, but then I didn't think that it would translate as well, and it wasn't really I don't know, I wasn't really vibing with that idea. So I thought that it'd be cool if I did it on Patreon. I added in the polls, and every single month following that, people keep re-requesting it. If you don't know, my $10 patrons request things for the polls that go up for the videos that I make every month. And so it's been on the polls for a hot minute, and I'm really happy that it finally got selected, so we can just be done with that. But I love this idea so much. I've been really wanting to make it for a long time. Basically, it's one of those tier ranking things where people will have the different tiers and they'll explain why. I'll be honest, I think those videos are really boring, but I thought it'd be fun, first of all, because it's me, and second of all, because just me being narcissistic, but also because I feel like it's interesting to look back on bad books that I've reviewed or talked about a lot and see how they've changed and see where I'm at in life with them now. I think it's one thing to make a review video and say this book is freaking bad, and I think it's another thing to 3 years later be was it bad, or was I just 17 and dumb? That's what we're doing in this. I made sure to include all of the different books that I've negatively talked about over the years, and I think there's a lot of different eras, and I'm really excited to get into it. So I hope that you're ready to do that. Let's do that. As you can see, we have our tier ranking lists and all the bad books. I thought that I included all of them. I was I kept convincing myself there were more, and there probably are more that I just don't remember. But I feel these are all the ones that had a dedicated video or an era associated to them, or something I've talked about a lot over the years. And so I feel I hopefully got all of them. Knowing me, I forgot the biggest one, but I don't know. I only have a couple of tiers. I didn't want there to be too many because that's stupid. And I was trying to think of funny names for all of them, but I can't do that. So the first one is It's So Good. Oh wait, no, that's not right. It's so bad that it's good. Meaning that these are the elite bad books. They are so trashy and so humiliating that I love to talk about them. They're freaking funny. They're amazing in every conceivable way. And so I feel that's what that is. And then there's A. It doesn't get an exciting name because I couldn't think of one. But this is just books that are almost so good that they're bad, but not quite. They have some boring parts or other issues I have. And then same with B, where it's they're just mediocre. There's more good than bad, but also more bad than good. And then for C, this is just boring, kind of funny, and then oof is our last tier. And oof to me really just symbolizes there's nothing that works. The writing's bad, everything's stupid, it's not even funny to talk about. It's just not the move. So let's get into it. The first book on the list might surprise some of y'all, because this is not a book that I've talked about at all recently, or honestly ever during any period of my life ever, and that is The Scorch Trials by James Dashner. I don't know if you guys were around. I know you're not, because nobody was. But when I first started my YouTube channel, I really had some beef with James Dashner. This was the first time where I read a book and I actually didn't like it. I read this book around the period when I was reading a lot of my favorites. I read The Hunger Games, I read Divergent, I was reading the Legend series, and I feel like there's so many more that are just like not coming into my mind right now. But I remember reading that in 7th grade, and I remember that was like when I was reading all these like foundational, life-changing books for this period of my life. And I remember I read this and it was like not good and confusing, and like I barely could have a good time with it. And I remember like I was at a period where I was buying so many books because I was like an official reader all of a sudden. And I remember I felt like I wasted my money on this book because I bought like other James Dashner books and I was pissed about that. I just remember this was like the first book where I was like, this is actually kind of bad. And I remember like I just loved to talk about it for no reason. I have videos where I like throw it around, and I was like 14. I was like, it's funny because I threw that book, but like it just simply wasn't. So I feel like as a result of that, I have no feelings towards that book now because it's been like what, 5-6 years? Honestly, it's been almost 7 years because it's about to be 2021. That is because I was in 7th grade. I remember I was reading this book in my reading class. Because I had a reading class. What the hell is that? But I remember I was in there and it was like a good time. And I remember it wasn't a good time actually. It was awful. But I just remember reading it and like pulling it out when we had reading time. And then the book was shit. So I would put The Scorched Trials. The thing is, I don't remember any plot details, so I feel like I can't put it anywhere besides, like, C. I think I feel good with it being at C. It's not good, but it's not horrible. It was, like, just so mediocre. There's nothing good about it. But, like, 14-year-old me was freaking pissed. And he was right to feel that way, I guess. Next up, we have... Pour one out for her. We have November 9 by our girl Colleen Hoover. I don't know if you were around in 2016, 2017. Most of you probably weren't. But, ooh, I really had it in for this girl. And you know what? I still do. I haven't thought about her in so long, but like I'm pissed about that. If you don't remember, it was actually just the 4-year anniversary of me reading November 9. And I only know this because I went on like a several day long Twitter rant about it, and I was like fighting people in my replies. But like I've deleted all those tweets because yikes. But every single year I have that stupid time hop app where it like tells you what you're doing like a year ago on different social media. And every year around Christmas, because I read that book on Christmas, every year on Christmas it comes up in my memories of me fighting people, and it makes me laugh out loud because it'll be like Christmas morning and I'll like be like, oh, I got a thing on my time hop, and it's me fighting random people. And I went on like a literal 25-minute Snapchat rant when I used to do that. And so I remember I was thinking that it was like so iconic. Like a couple years ago, I was like, this is like the most iconic rant ever. And I would say a year ago, I was gonna post on November 9, I was gonna post like me dragging November 9 for 3 years straight, and it was gonna be all the times I ever mentioned it. And first of all, that didn't translate well because it just seemed like me like making stuff up and like saying the same joke over and over. And I was like, I'm exposing myself for not being funny. But also like the original rant is not funny. It's seriously not funny. I feel like I maybe posted it at one point, but looking back on it, there aren't any jokes. It's just me like saying the same thing over, and I really thought that I was like being woke about it, but I really wasn't, and it was just so tired. It was just not a good rant at all, and so I feel no need to revisit that. But the actual book, November 9, I would say is still to this day like one of the worst books I've ever read. I mean, it's on this list, but like for a long time I considered it the worst book that I've ever read. And I don't know if I still subscribe to that narrative because I feel like there are so many different types of bad books. And so it's hard to say like this is the definitive one book that is the worst. And I just don't know about that. I would say just the fact that, like, it's so awful, and, like, the kid burned down her house, and, like, followed her around for, like, years to, like, apologize to her. And so, like, all of it was just fabricated to, like, get close to her and apologize for literally, like, burning down her house. And, like, he was a felon. And the fact that, like, we didn't talk about any of that, and then they're like, it's fine, and they just, like, get back together. I just thought that was uncomfortable, and it was, like, really abusive and, like, low-key rapey. And from what I see, the author has apologized. I haven't read any of her new books, so I don't know what she's up to nowadays. But I feel like November 9 continues to suck ass to this day. And I think that it sucks ass because I still see people giving it like a 5 stars. And you'll see Colleen Hoover fans like going crazy about it and putting it on their favorite lists, like still to this day. Like despite the fact that like it's been called out and like even the author was like, yeah, that scene was kind of rapey. And so I feel like there's nowhere I can put it besides the oof tier, you know what I'm saying? On to Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, because a year later I decided to revisit a new one of her books because for that whole year people were recommending me other Colleen Hoover books, and I did a whole video about this, which honestly I have not watched that video probably since I posted it, but I don't know what happens in it, but I feel like it slaps. I seriously do. When I think about that time in my life, I was so poppin'. It was like a good time, I would say, and I had so much fun making videos. And so I feel like for Ugly Love, I don't know where I'm going to put it yet, but I need to talk about it. I feel like my issue with Ugly Love is just the fact that it is so pretentious. It is so annoying. And like the whole thing with the baby, like drowning, that was just so weird. And like, I just like, honestly, it's been like actually like almost 3 years since I made that video. So it's hard for me to remember exactly what happened, but it's just so bad. And I feel like every single thing in that book was just not quite right. And it was just so upsetting. I'm sitting here right now and I'm like looking at all these books on the bottom and like I'm literally like, they're all gonna go in the oof tier. What the hell is going on? But I just feel like Ugly Love, for that video, if you watch the whole thing, which I haven't in forever, but I do know that I was like so screaming for no reason. But like I feel like if you watch that video, especially at the end, you can tell that like it's taken a lot out of me and like I'm actually upset. And that was like a period where like I was like actually getting like kind of like worked up over this stuff and like was treating myself like a martyr, where I was like, it's just not okay. And people just keep promoting, like it's not that big of a deal, I don't think. I think if anything, it's like maybe it deserves a disclaimer, but like I don't think that it deserves to be like the end of the freaking world like I was treating it. And I remember at the end of that video when I was done, like I was like, finally I get to be done and move on. And so I feel like as a result of that, Ugly Love is gonna go, I think, along with her sister, in the oof tier. I would consider putting it, no. Next up, I need a shot. We have #1 New York Times best-selling novel, Zenith. I gotta be frank with y'all for a second. I need to say, in many ways, I was ahead of my time, okay? Because here's the thing, right? I don't want to be like, I've never been one to talk trash, but like lately, the author of #1 New York Times bestseller Zenith has been in some drama. I've been out of the book community and I haven't been on Twitter at all, but like I've seen it and I actually think it is so freaking funny because she's been messy. She's been messy since day one. And I remember after I read this book and after I posted my video and like the mess continued for months after that, and sis was acting whack as hell about it and like posting whack ass videos. I just remember I was like, she sucks. She's so crazy and weird, and it's just like really not, something is not clicking for this girl. But she's a #1 New York Times best-selling author, so I mean, good for her. And so I feel like if you watch my Zenith video today, I feel like, and there was a time where I really regretted it and I felt actually bad. And it was because so many people in the community made me feel like I had to feel bad. I don't know if you were around during this point. This is I think this is in my top 10 most viewed videos. My Zenith video, I don't regret it. I do regret like the fact that I was just so angry and like riled up for no reason. But I just feel like that was just so boring. And I remember it was like literally like 550 pages. And like, I don't remember the plot. I don't remember the characters. I don't remember like anything that happened in it. All I remember is the drama. I don't remember anything, and I don't even know if anybody talked about the sequel. I remember there was like a minute where I was like maybe gonna read the sequel, and then I remember I read like the chapter sampler, and I was like, I don't know who any of these people are, and I was like, if I wanted to make a video, I would have to like reread the first book, which I got rid of. I don't know where it is. I don't remember giving it to Goodwill, but like it's gone. I feel like this book is in the same sort of area as the last two we talked about, where it wasn't fun to read and like everything was bad, but I will say, given everything that happened afterwards with like the people saying like wanting attention, that's another example of me acting like a martyr for no reason, being like, we don't want attention, and they're like, shut up, it's not that big of a deal. I feel like all the drama that ensued really ruined the things that were funny, but I just feel like now if I were to read it, I would think it'd be funny. Like, I remember it being funny and, like, actually laughing at certain stuff and, like, the stupid, like, I will never forget the certain things. I don't even remember what I said in it. It's been almost 3 years. But I just remember, like, the writing was so weird and it would be so formal and they would be like, let us go to this space. And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you talking like that? I think it's funny. It's funnier than the Scorch Trials. And I feel like I got some good content and I had so many funny jokes about the book, but the drama also plays into sort of the way I see things. But am I crazy if I put it in the B? But you know what? I don't care. I had so much fun reading that book and like just the stupid moments and like the fact that they're like, she is the queen of this whole planet. And then like you think about that for more than 2 seconds and you're like, that literally makes no sense at all. I think it's funny. Like, is there no federal government? What about state government? Are there countries on the planet? Why do they only refer to it as one whole planet? There's no other sci-fi where I think like that. But the fact that like even Star Wars doesn't really do this, where like, this man is the king of this whole planet. And you're like, okay, what type of government is it? Are they social? Like, I don't know why I have these questions only for Zenith and like not Star Wars or anything else. I'm just curious. I guess there is Princess Leia, but like she rarely talked about politics. Next up, we have A Court of Frost and Starlight by my homegirl Sarah J. Maas. I don't know if you remember, but I made an entire video about ACOFAS. And I remember I really trashed it and I got a lot of hate for it and I left the video up because I stood by what I said. But as time went on, I started to disagree more with certain things that I had said, ways that I had phrased certain lines of dialogue and like things that were considered jokes in the text. And like since I didn't plan on making a video, I sort of like went back and like found things that like weren't necessarily problematic, but like I referred to them as something that was so awful. And just as a result of that, I didn't feel comfortable with people who hadn't read the book saying like, you're right, this book is abusive, when like the 2 or 3 lines that I had pointed as like abuse weren't entirely accurate. So I took that video down for that reason. A lot of people think that like I didn't like the criticism, but I left the video up for like 6-7 months before I took it down. And that was just because I rewatched it and I didn't like the way it was coming across. That book was just stupid. I mean, it was a novella. It was like 200 pages. It was just whatever. It wasn't that good. It wasn't funny. It was just annoying. And like, it was characters that I had loved so much, like at Christmas. And they like went shopping several times. And it was just a waste of everyone's time. And so as a result of that, I feel like it's gonna go in the C tier. Ooh, next up, okay, we're getting into some good ones, y'all. So, of course, we have the icon Handbook for Mortals. We just love that book. I actually haven't watched the video probably since I posted it. But I did actually go through a period where I was like rewatching a lot of my old videos that I hadn't watched in a long time, but I haven't watched most of my reviews. I watched like my newer reviews, like not to sound narcissistic, but like if it's been long enough since I've posted it, like I'll revisit older videos. Like I'll watch like the poetry video. I've rewatched like the Bad Boy for Christmas one a couple times because that's like one of my favorites, I think. And like Cowboy video I've watched. I just recently rewatched the Hunger Games one. This book in every way is so iconic. Like the jokes are so bad. The characters are hilarious and none of it is intentional. Like it's literally like like I struck gold. Like anybody who found this book and read this book, like it's gold. And like the drama with the New York Times list plays into it. Like there are so many things, like that scene at the lemonade stand where she like attacks that girl for no reason and she's like, life gives you, like that. I couldn't even make that up if I wanted to. It is so good. I feel like I don't have much to say, but like it's funny. It's iconic. The characters are hilarious. Like the magic is bad. The drama is bad. I had so much content. And I just feel like as a result of that, maybe I'm biased, but am I crazy for that? I feel like I am. Handbook for Mortals was so bad for all the right reasons. And I feel like I can't pretend that it's not. It is so funny. So I feel like that's where it goes. That's all I have to say about that one. Next up, we have Rescuing the Bad Boy by Jessica Lemon. I have not watched this video since I posted it because I thought this video was awful, but of course it's one of my most viewed videos, so thanks for that, guys. I had a really fun time reading this book. I think it was a really funny book. The things with the dog was funny. Jessica Lemon is really funny with her sex scenes. I would just say it was funny. It was sexy, so it was funny to make fun of like the sex scenes and stuff. And like there were some ridiculous moments. I wouldn't put it with Zenith because I feel like Zenith was funny, but also more annoying. I would say this was less annoying, more funny. So I'll put it in A. Do we agree with that? I agree with that. And it's my damn list, so. Okay, next up we have, this isn't even a published book. I think this is the only one that isn't a published book on this list, but I felt the need to include it because I do feel like it's a iconic book. And that is My Immortal by Tara. I did so much research when I did this video and I don't even remember her name. Bloody XX, I don't remember the name, but similar to Handbook for Mortals, I feel like this is just like instantly iconic. I feel like this is another one of my videos that's like a staple video. But the book itself, I would say, is so good that it's bad. Wait, that's not right. It's so bad that it's good. Because like it's, first of all, it's like pop culture, like classic. It is so funny. Like the mystery behind it is so interesting. Everything is funny, like for like the wrong reasons. Like it's fun to speculate. It's just a good time. And I don't know if I have much more to say besides the fact that it's just so funny and so good. And it's just, I just love it for that. So next up we have The Cellar by, I would say this book was so funny. It was easy to read and go through. I like flew through it. I was dying laughing. I had so much fun highlighting stupid lines and coming up with things. The fact that it was a Wattpad book added to the layers of it. I feel like, I personally, there's not even much bad besides the fact that it's just juvenile and stupid. So I think I'd put it at A. Do we agree with that? Because Zenith was funny, but also annoying. B is like the midpoint of just annoying, but also funny. A is like funny, a little bit annoying, but less iconic. And C is like more annoying than funny. Next up, we got, what was that poetry book called? The pretentious one? The Truth About Magic by Atticus. First of all, I love this video. We're not talking about the videos. This was so annoying. It was so pretentious. It was funny. It was funny because it was really funny to like read through it and like pretend that it made sense. But like that video, there were so many that I like read that were stupid and bad. But like that book is like 200 or 300 pages and I probably only talked about like 20 poems in it. And like I had to read all of them. And like most of them weren't funny. They were just simply annoying. So as a result of that, I kind of feel the need to put it along with Zenith. But I'm not sure yet. The ones that were funny, but the ones that weren't just so weren't. Next up, we have I love this book. If I still did like favorites of the year videos, last year, this would have probably been at the top. I'm not kidding. I think that book was so funny with the like bad boy like following her to her apartment and like freaking out and like scaling up. The whole engagement ring thing with her ex-fiance was so stupid. The like locked in a cabin together and like putting your panties on the tree as like ornaments to decorate. The fact that they were locked in this cabin for Christmas and he went out and cut down a tree and brought it in is so funny. And the stuff with like the pregnancy that was like not planned, they were like sobbing about it. I just think it's so good. Okay, I loved this book so much. I liked it better than the first Bad Boy book. I thought I had such a fun time reading it. Like I read this over like the course of like finals week. And so like of course I was like losing my mind as it was, but also like it was fun to read. I took really good notes of it. I went through it relatively quickly. And so as a result of that, I feel like maybe this book doesn't have the like iconicness of Handbook for Mortals and My Immortal, but in my heart, I loved this. But then also, like, I look at all of that I just remember off the top of my head, but also, like, there was so much trash in that book. Like, there were so many scenes of them, like, sitting with side characters that I didn't know. But also, it's better than rescuing the bad boy. So, like, would I put it there? What do we think in the comments? What do you guys think? Thinking now with, like, the whole, like, scenes that weren't good, like there'd be an entire chapter where it'd just be like random side characters we don't know talking and it doesn't advance the plot. I would say because there's a lot of examples of that, I'd probably put it at A. But it is better than Rescuing the Bad Boy. Next up, we got Cowboy Rebel by Carolyn Brown. I read this book when I first got sent home from school and so I was like losing my mind as it was. And there was a lot going on at that point, and so I mentally was not having a great time. But also, that book was just not good. But the things that were good were really good. Like the scenes of like that Billy Tom and like the kidnapping, iconic. The like cowboy references, iconic. But similar to Bad Boy for Christmas, there was just a lot of things that like negated the funny. Like all the scenes of like side characters and like things that didn't advance the plot at all or the characters and like weird references that didn't mean anything. I would say it's not in the same level as funny as these three in the A tier. So I would probably put it at B. I know that's not exciting. The B tier is so not exciting at all, but like that's how the books are, where it's just like some of the things that are so funny are so funny. But the negative, annoying stuff negates all the funny. Next up, we have Quarantined with the Lumberjack. This was only a novella. It was only like 60 pages, and I did a video for it, but I felt the need to include it. I would say, you know what? I think that this was actually so funny. I think the nature of this book being a novella really helped it out because it was the type of thing where there wasn't any filler. It was all just like very quick to the point. It knew what it was doing. It was telling a sexy quarantine story and it did it quickly, and that's what I enjoyed about it. It didn't really lose my interest at all. I was able to read it really fast. And so I'd say it goes in A. Like the sex scenes were hilarious to read. The whole like thesis thing was funny. The grandma was the cat. It was all really funny. It wasn't iconic in any way. But like it was a moment. And so I think it goes in A. Next up, our final book that we're going to be talking about for this ranking is the video that I did over the summer with this snake song, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. The title is cut off, so I was like, wait, what the hell is it? I still don't know. I literally... like, I just call it that new Hunger Games book with people. But it is so upsetting, okay? It wasn't funny. I think my video was funny because, like, I really was, like, overcompensating because I was, like, I knew I was going to make a video for it and I knew that it would be an exciting video, but, like, I really was, like, trying to, like, think of things to say. It was so boring. It was, like, the 3-act structure was whack of him, like, being in the Capitol and then the Hunger Games and then him in District 12. That didn't work at all. It's not bad enough to go in the oof because oof, like, had my blood boiling. and it's not funny in any way or enjoyable to read, so it goes in C. I feel like that's such a boring way to end it. Like, it's whatever, but that's how I felt. So that was it for this Patreon video. But before we go, I feel like I have some things to say. First of all, I want to thank you all so much for continuing to support me this year. I know I haven't uploaded a video since August. It's been a minute, and I am very sorry about that. But I do want to also say that, like, I think my time away was really good for me. I think in the last month, I've really sort of realized why I was so hesitant to come back. And I feel like a lot of people probably think that it's like the fact that my last video got so much pushback. And maybe it was for a minute, but I just felt the need that, like, I didn't really want to focus on the internet stuff for a while. And it was sort of weird when so many things in my life had changed, and it felt so weird to just sit down and, like, feel like I was playing a character, or feeling like I was trying to, like, be this, like, clown again. And so I feel like I sort of was going through a process of trying to find, like, my authentic self, and sort of trying to figure out what that meant for me and what that meant for my YouTube channel. Because it's one thing to, like, go through an identity crisis, and it's another thing to, like, go through an identity crisis where there's, like, actually, like, 100,000 people watching you, and sort of, like, I don't know who I am. And so it was kind of weird to, like, sit there and be like, I don't know who I am, so I don't know how to be on camera. And so as a result of that, I sort of felt the need to back away, because I didn't even want to really deal with it. I didn't want to feel like I was being inauthentic, and I didn't really have, honestly, much to say as it was. And I'm not trying to hint at anything, but I think 2021 is going to be really exciting. I know that I normally tell you what's coming up next, and for the last couple months, I've not really said much because there wasn't much. But, and I'm not trying to get anybody hopes up, but maybe I'm working on stuff. I don't know. We'll see. You guys are going to be the first to know when the day is coming. I don't know why I'm playing it coy all of a sudden. Like, it's, like, not a big deal. Like, I've literally talked about it. But who knows when the videos are coming. But I love the, like, acting like a superhero villain all of a sudden, being like, well, you'll have to guess when the videos come. Like, what the hell is that? If I don't post a video this month, literally, like, I will make it up to you in some way, I swear to God. But, like, I'm working on stuff now. Okay, I think that after I finish editing this, I want to start watching stuff to take notes on, and start screen recording some movies. Only one movie. Can you guess what it is? I've talked about it before. I don't know why I'm playing it like this. I want to thank you guys for not leaving, because I wouldn't have been surprised if I would have gone 5 months without posting and everybody would have just been over it by that point. But you guys stuck around, and that means a lot. If this is your last month being here, thanks for pledging. I really enjoyed your time. I hope you enjoyed the content, and I will be back soon. But I just want to thank you all for your support this year. I feel like this year I didn't upload that much. I think I counted, I uploaded like 8 videos, which is crazy, because I used to upload weekly. But I think that my break was really beneficial, and I think for the first time in a long time, I'm actually, like, excited to make stuff. It doesn't feel like a job or a burden, and so I feel excited. I don't know why today is the day where I woke up where I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make all this stuff, and I'm actually really excited. And so, yeah, I hope that you all have a good New Year's. Stay safe. Don't go out partying, y'all. I swear to God. But yeah. Stan Colleen Hoover. Bye.